Good people, what is going on? Another episode of the All Go Podcast. I'm your host, Desmond. If you haven't seen it, check out the live stream that myself and my good friend Dre did on Saturday. It is still up on the channel, but we talked about a lot of things. Michael Parsons trade, the Texas game, the Florida State-Alabama game, and LSU Clemson, and then also Michigan football expectations. So we did all that before the game started, and yeah, so please check that out. I think might try to do that on a more regular basis, but yeah, we shall see. We've had a lot of football go on. The game I have to start with, because I am an Alabama fan, and Alabama definitely took one on the chin for Florida State. I did not foresee that happening. I thought Kalen DeBoer being able to have a full cycle of, hey, these are just our guys, not being as cautious of guys jumping in the transfer portal because of when he took over for Nick Saban, all those good things. I thought we would see a much better product and a much better football team than we did at the end of last year. Basically, through that Georgia game last year, you could have made an argument that Alabama might be the best team in the country. And really, through the first half of that Georgia game. From the second half of that Georgia game on through the rest of the season, they were a bottom 50 team easily. They were bad. And like I said, it was easy to say, well, DeBoer couldn't get all his guys or push them the way he wanted to for fear of them jumping in the portal. Well, we don't have that excuse now. And the fact is that both sides of the ball, but offense is Kalen DeBoer's thing. So we scored, 14 points, 17 points? I mean, you scored 7 when you really needed it. They're early in the game. But, I mean, essentially, the game was not good. It was not good. And defensively, there's a clip going around of an outside linebacker basically jogging as Florida State is running in for a touchdown, and just not the type of promo and videos, post footage and whatnot that you want to see. It signals a lot of bad things. It signals that you're not coaching guys to a standard. You're not holding them accountable. You're not being hard on them. And also for the players, what it signals, not saying that this is factual yet. There's a lot of season left. But based on one game, it seems as if y'all don't really have that effort, that nasty, the dog in you that many players in the Nick Saban era had. That's what it signals as of today. Now, if you come out the next 4 games and dominate some people and kind of turn it around, then maybe we can have a different conversation. But until then, that's what it looks like. And also, lastly, before I get to Florida State, Kalen DeBoer, at the end of the day, when someone's asked a question on a podium, right, the things that you say typically aren't going to totally change things or it's just words. It really doesn't matter that much. But for the much that it does matter, not loving the we'll get them next time kind of speak on there. You should be pissed. You got embarrassed by Mike Norvell, by Florida State. Granted, it was on the road, but there's no excuses. And if you didn't want to have this type of pressure, eyeballs, etc., you shouldn't have come to the University of Alabama. And I feel like he knew what he was getting into. But it comes with a lot. You get paid a lot, but it comes with a lot. So he's got some work to do, and I would say for most fans, he has lost a little bit of goodwill. As with anything, that tends to come back when you dominate and win and do some good things. So we shall see. Florida State, and kudos to them. they looked fast. They looked hungry, coachable, disciplined. I mean, explosive. They looked really good. So I have nothing but respect for Florida State. You know, I bash on the ACC a lot, and I mean, I just do. But they were terrific. That is a team that has been looking forward to this game for months. That was a team that you could just see it. I'm sure, you know, training camp and all that good stuff was intense, was focused, because that was a team on a mission. They were ready. So kudos to them. Tommy Castellanos, I got to tip my hat to you, my friend. I thought Alabama would beat up on you pretty good, but you did exactly the opposite. And you talked your stuff before the game as well. So kudos to you. You talked it, you backed it up, and you guys won. So congrats to Florida State on a big win. The other game I want to talk about before we get to North Carolina is the Texas-Ohio State game. So, you know, some people were saying, oh, the game was boring. It was a snooze fest. It was a back-and-forth game. I get it. The quarterbacks didn't play great. But, you know, when you have two really good teams and both with a lot of NFL talent on the defensive side, they're not going to give up, you know, 30 and 40 points. That's not going to happen. But Ohio State pulls out a big win, 14-7 at home against Texas. And what a lot of coming out of the game, a lot of the talk was with Arch Manning. And I'm not here to bash Arch Manning. I am here to bash all the Arch Manning takes that were going out floating around really all offseason. But I had to hear from Paul Feinbaum that Arch Manning is the best quarterback we've seen in college football since Tim Tebow. So let's just totally erase Cam Newton and totally erase Joe Burrow, even Mac Jones in 2020 for that matter. Let's just forget about those guys. Mind you, we haven't seen Arch Manning throw the ball 100 times even, and already we're you know, have these type of takes. You know, that he's the number one pick in next year's draft. Like what? Like, do you know what Joe Burrow had to do to become the number one pick in the draft? The man went crazy. And it's just wild that it was consistently that. And seemingly, Arch had nothing to do with it. Arch just went about his business, right? This has nothing to, like I said, this isn't about him, per se. It was the media. Like, we're the ones doing that. Oh, he's going to be the number one pick. And, you know, he's a Manning and blah, blah, blah. And my thought was, let's just wait and see. What if the kid can't play? Like, what if he can't play? That is always a possibility, right? What if he can't play? And, you know, he had a pretty awful game. I mean, you know, if you tell me, well, he had two or three good throws in the late in the game. He threw the ball 31 times. You're telling me 10% of the time he did his job? It looked good? The delivery, the number one thing I'm probably most concerned about with Arch Manning is his delivery. It's almost like a 3/4 like submarine delivery. It's definitely not a typical over the top, and you saw it a lot. But it just, and now the media, after, you know, hyping him up and all this, and even a guy I love as far as his content, Joel Klatt. I mean, before the season in July, you put out your quarterback rankings. You told us Arch Manning is the second best quarterback in the country and blah, blah, blah. And now that he put up a stinker in his first game, now it's everybody just needs to relax and temper your expectation. You told us he was the second best quarterback in the country. Who made the expectations? And now the same folks who made him want to you know, backtrack and do all that. It's like, listen, man, sometimes it's easy. It's okay to say, hey, I think I was wrong on this guy. And I'm not saying any actual judgments need to be made on Arch, except that he played poorly in week 1. He might be back. He might, you know, play better and be okay. But it's just odd that we go from, you know, he's the greatest thing since sliced bread to Now we got to relax. You guys are doing too much. Oh, yeah. Last thing I want to talk about, and this will be pretty quick, but Bill Belichick, North Carolina, TCU played last night. There was stars galore. It actually reminded me of Colorado, their first home game last year. Just stars everywhere. It's pretty cool. But you had Michael Jordan, you had Roy Williams, Randy Moss, which I don't know the affiliation there. Everybody, Julius Peppers, but North Carolina got their teeth kicked in. It looked pretty rough from start to finish. And the main thing, because I went back and when Belichick was hired to see, because I'm pretty sure what I thought at the time, and it's pretty much the same, that college football is it's a talent acquisition game, and it's unique in that the NFL, if I sign a player, I sign him to a 4-year contract, for example. I know that at least I've got him for 3 years, 4 years, etc., and maybe we can extend it. College football, this thing is freaking 8 months to 8 months. I mean, you get a guy, you sign a kid in May. In May, he might be gone by December. And people treating college football and making it seem like it's the equivalent to the NFL, and Bill, was able to get talent and things like that. It's like, oh, he's used to contracts and so on and so forth. Well, these aren't really contracts. These are lightweight agreements of, hey, I'll pay you X amount of dollars, and basically we'll see how things go. So it's not a 2-year deal. It's not a 3-year deal. And I think Bill's going to struggle with that. I also think, his personality isn't one that I would imagine resonates with young kids. Now, I could be wrong. You could just say, well, I don't care about that. I'm more so trying to get to the next level. Well, in that case, Bill, you got to win a whole bunch, and you got to send guys to the NFL in order to do that. I know Nick Saban was a pretty crotchety guy, but he was very energetic, and he sent guys to the NFL, and he won a whole bunch. So you can do it, but you've got to produce in order to make a living that way. As far as in college football, I think Bill Belichick and his bank account are just fine. But that's it for me. Greatly appreciate it. Have a good day. Peace.